How would you like to live to be 103 and in good health? Well, that's what the topic's about today. It's September the 11th, 2024. And I bought this book a couple years ago. Uh, she's 104 now. No, 3 or 4. I'll show this to you here. When she wrote the book, she was 102. It's called The Well Lived Life. 102-year-old doctor's six secrets to health and happiness at every age. Okay. I think that's great. I don't know why I'm confused here, but I think I saw on TV that she had rewritten a book saying that 103-year-old doctor's secrets. Uh, for health and happiness at every age. But I just did a Google search and I could not find that. So 102 it will be. She's going to tell you how to do it in 6 secret steps. There's her name if you want to copy it down. Now, I'm not promoting her book. I don't care. I found it fascinating because of one major reason. She used mainly holistic health, not necessarily all prescriptions. And I'm the type that uses a lot of vitamins and um, can we say herbs? Now, I eat a lot of junk food too. Some of you have seen me at McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's. I ate Arby's today. Ice cream. So, but I'm not near her age. I'm only 75. Give me a break, okay? I'm I'm doing this video for people that want to live to be 102 or older. Right now she's 103. I just looked it up. And if you go to YouTube and look her up, you'll get some of her secrets given by her live. Her talking. It won't be her dead. She'll she'll take you through possibly a full day of her life. I haven't looked at the video for quite a while. I got an interesting other book here. I'm not promoting these books. I'm so close to death that I'm buying them. What I mean by 75's not a young chick anymore. Not at all. If I live to be 100, I'm going to read this to you so because you probably can't see it from there. Well, maybe you can. Confessions. Confessions from, yeah, people over 100. These are people over 100. I need to read this one again because I can't remember a thing in it. That's how long it's been since I read it. And just for fun, I'm going to throw something in. I was going to get Billy Graham's book down here called he lived it. He almost made it to 100. Okay, Billy Graham. Some of y'all have heard of him. Called Nearing Home. Nearing, Nearing, home. His wife had died. Years had gone by, and I'm sure there were tears shed every day till he was 99. Well, for a person that thought he was going to die young because of all the travel, he miscalculated. And there's some good wisdom. I didn't bring his cover down here, the book down here, but it's called Nearing Home, Billy Graham, and it is probably the only book I've read by him. And he doesn't preach in it. No preaching. He deals with getting your life in order, tying up loose ends, and that you can still be of some use or a lot of use in your later days, as he was to almost 100. Now comes one of my favorites here, because if if y'all have followed me in any way, whether you've read my first book in 1969 called When Twilight Begins, or my last four books that I published maybe 3 or 4 years ago, they're all poetry. So why wouldn't I like this book? And I was shocked, and I'll tell you why. I was shocked. Donald Hall, A Carnival of Losses. Notes from Nearing 90. You catching all that? Donald Hall, Carnival of Losses. Notes Nearing 90. Well, when I was younger, he was a judge on a lot of contests of poetry contests, and I didn't think I was worthy of submitting poetry to him, so I didn't. I instead I just read things that he wrote, books he wrote. He's written so many books for children, so many books. I remember this one book he wrote. He didn't think anyone would read it, and it wasn't really classified as a book as much as two stories. It won all sorts of awards. It probably made more money for him than any other book. And the rest were poetry books, and this one's more of a biography. Um, he states in it that he will not be able to publish any more poetry. And now I know why after reading this book, and I know why after I'm at the age I'm at, 75, not even close to 90. Oh man, I gotta tell you, that book's worth reading. Let me tell you why. He, his wife died. He had a young wife, I mean, younger than him, died from cancer. His life just went down the tube. I think he even got so many letters and that he had at least one or two people answering letters for him. He answered every letter, whether it was 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000. He doesn't tell. His whole life was ruined. He talks about it in that book and in one other book. Daggone, I gotta tell you that other book because I have it upstairs and I haven't. It was so sad. I couldn't I couldn't finish it. But he's written so many books here that they only put about 5 or 6 in there that he wrote when he probably wrote about 20. It was so sad I didn't finish it. Okay. And he couldn't open, if I remember right, the part I read, he wasn't able to unpackage the boxes of her belongings, at least for a long, long, long time, if he did at all. And that was somewhat of the title, like Unopened Boxes. She was a poet, possibly, he would say, a better poet than he was. She was. And I only mention that to let you know he was a human. He went back to the very place that his parents lived and possibly where he was born. And I don't know what town it was, but I'll tell you something funny. He was asked to come to a get together of the most famous poets in America, and when he it was being it was being sponsored in part by President Obama. He wanted to meet all the famous poets, and when it came to him, Donald Hall, he by then he had a terrible beard, untrimmed, and President Obama says, and where are you from? And he tells what town he's from. You're going to like this one. Obama said, "That's a great university. That's a great university." He may have even said, "I've been there." There was no university in that little town. There's a couple houses, trees, animals. I thought that was funny. That's in this book right here. There's nothing wrong with making a person feel good. I've been there. I've been to your house. I've been to your college. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, we're pretty free flowing. I'm saying this at this time because I notice other people do this trick to get more subscribers. It would be a trick or a strategy. I'm gonna call it a trick. But in the middle of their or the beginning, middle, and three-fourths, and at the end, they say if you like this, hit the subscribe button. I've never done that. Because most people aren't going to subscribe because they won't get that far, and I don't mention subscribing at all in many, and I only mention if you like my style, feel free to subscribe because I plan to do uh, this on a regular basis now. So, commercial. If you like my style so far and you want to subscribe, there may be a button there where you can push. If you like it, you can even push that button. Okay. And on the subscribe button, there's 3 layers. The top layer is you'll be notified immediately when I release another video. Hey, this is the first commercial I've done. How about that? Did I do a good job? Now, some more about Donald Hall that was interesting that I relate to. He didn't make it to 100. Okay, so but the reason I'm spending so much time on him is this is a real book. Um, his last 3 books after the books that starting when his wife died, and there was probably another book, and then this book, maybe 4 books. You're going to see the real guts and gory of people who love someone. And in this book, you're going to see how he was making it through each day. I got to share one other story with you with Donald Hall. He smoked cigarettes. I don't know if he drank or not. I'm assuming that was in his past, if not current, but he smoked. And one of the people that checked on him said, "Now look, don't smoke after I left." And he said, "I promise I won't." Well, he did, and he fell asleep while the cigarette was lit, and the couch caught on fire, the house caught on fire, and here comes the fire department. He didn't even take the advice of the 1 or 2 people that cared for him. Would take him to poetry readings, would take him to the grocery store. "Yeah, I promise I won't smoke. You have a good night." Light one up and fall asleep. And then you hear the fire department. I got to read this book tonight again. Okay. One one of the people I lived with in 1974, here in Madison, Indiana. I was in the ministry then. You can tell I'm probably of that persuasion because you you can check my videos and I don't think you're going to hear a cuss word from me because that goes against my grain, not because I think I'm going to go to hell, but it's just not Christian to use these words that's being thrown around every other sentence on the comedy shows. So in 1974, I was called to be, help in the ministry here in Madison, Indiana. That's how I got to know Madison, Indiana, as a matter of fact. I worked with mostly with the youth and children. And I, at that time, published 4 books while I was working in the ministry. Love is a Smile, Love Touching Love. Can I think of the other 2? Not really. There were 4. And after I left there, I went to take a tour and sell all those 4 books to any bookstore, card shop, university, or I think that covers it. Chain bookstore like Walden's. I would sell. I would sell those books, and let me assure you, every stop I made at these stores did not always buy. The favorite word they say was "will pass." Will pass. Didn't know what that meant at first, but I caught on after the first or second bookstore that meant uh, no, we're not going to carry your books. So at that point, I started. I started. One of the books was "Touching You, Touching Me." I went through 7 printings, but it was I doubled the size of it, and uh, sold everywhere. "Touching You, Touching Me." Stole the title from Neil Diamond's album called "Touching You, Touching Me." But you got to realize I didn't really steal it because you cannot copyright a title of a book or song or album. You cannot copyright it. If if you could think of all the textbooks you've read that was required in school by the same title: Introduction to English, Introduction to History, Introduction to American History. No. So I didn't break any rules. I just sold a lot of books. And I didn't know how many I was selling till I was reordering 5,000 to 10,000 at a time. And I got to tell you the true story. Since we're sharing, aren't we? We're sharing and having fun. Touching You, Touching Me, I found a local printer in Louisville that was going to make the first, was going to make 5,000 copies for me. And he didn't have a binder, so he bought a binder. The binder was good, perfect bound book. Okay, it's perfect bound. That means that the title's on the spine. So this was the probably the second or third edition of Touching You, Touching Me. Gave me a good price on it. And he bought a binding machine, but he, he he leaned on the cheap side and bought cheap glue. I got 5,000 books in my house. Oh my gosh, Louisville, Kentucky. They look beautiful. And shipped them at Christmas time for all the orders that were coming in, for mostly from the chain stores like Walden Books and V. Dalton Books Sellers and Books a Million, those type of chains. Those are the type of chains I was selling to. Not and also to college bookstores. Got them all sold. Almost got most of them back. The glue was bad, and the pages fell out of the cover. Well, I didn't get all 5,000 back because some people glued them back, used Elmer's glue on the spine, and put those pages in like I did when they came back. I got Elmer's glue and put it on the spine and shoved those pages back in. He gave me a good deal, though, a good price per book. I never told him how it ended. Well, after that, I went with a different printer, as you can imagine. And we're going to wind things up now because, as you know, I'm not close to 100 years old. Um, I've shared with you some fun stuff and true stuff, and thought this might be entertaining. You know, I look to see how you sell video, not how you sell, how you get people to watch videos. Education, make it educational or fun to watch. I don't know if which one this is or if it's a little bit of both. Because I didn't tell you what her six secrets were to live to be 100 at this point, 103. Checked it before I got on. She was 102 when she wrote that book. So, commercial, commercial break. If you like my style, feel free to hit the top the third one at the top. It says you'll be notified the next time I get on here and decide to have fun with you all. Until then, have a blessed day, and we'll be talking again real soon. Take care now.